What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Bitcast 77. Got a kind of special episode for you today. Bert is off traveling the world in Ireland for 2 weeks, actually. So Dan and I are here. We're holding down the fort. You're going to get a two-person chat, essentially, Bitcast episode. That's what we're going to go with.
We'll put Bert in later as like a small south of the border leprechaun.
Leprechaun. Well, he's got the size.
Yeah, he does. You sure you don't want to check the door? Make sure he doesn't just pop in there.
Disappear.
Throw gold at your face.
So anyway, we're going to talk about Halloween events and games. We got some news on Jedi Fallen Order, Call of Duty, and Fortnite is back in the news. We've got a fun kind of community thing. Some of our followers, listeners, etc. shared some funny stories in their past gaming histories. We're going to share some of those. And then we're going to talk about a couple reviews, Yooka, Laylee, and the Impossible Lair, and Breakpoint, and just what we've been playing. So why don't we kick it off with these Halloween events? So there's a few games that are throwing up some Halloween events. We talked about Fight or Fright in Apex Legends. Earlier today, we knew that one was coming for Borderlands 3. It's called Bloody Harvest. They released the trailer today. There's new enemies, some new loot, some new cosmetics, and that's going to run all the way through the beginning of December, which is pretty cool. So you have plenty of time to do that stuff. Some new legendaries they hinted at as well. And then Hitman 2, a game we haven't talked about in a while. I know you love it.
Yeah.
I haven't played it hardly at all. I think I played like a bit of the first episode. But they're having a Halloween event as well. You get some special cosmetics, some special missions. They didn't go into too much detail, but that actually starts tomorrow, I believe, as we're recording this on the 22nd. So
yeah, I think I saw a pumpkin head costume of some sort.
Something like that, yeah. And a Batman, like Ninja Star or something like that.
I didn't see that. I need to. You know what's funny? I did play that a little bit this weekend, or last week, and it's still awesome. They added 2 more missions that I hadn't got to yet.
Oh.
And so I played one, which took me forever to actually figure out how to do, because I like to go through and like not screw up.
Yeah.
Which doesn't happen very often. But it took me a long time. But it was really good. It was the bank heist, I think, or bank, something to do with a bank. And they have another one that released that was some kind of resort that I haven't actually tackled yet.
They're big on the resorts in Hitman.
Yeah. You know what? It just seems to work.
Rich people.
Yeah. A lot of massages going on in Hitman too. But Bloody Harvest comes out tomorrow. Is that right? Tuesday, I should say.
Yeah, Tuesday as you're listening to this. Yeah. So which is when this episode goes up. So good timing.
Yeah. See, I played a little bit of that this week too, and just trying to find that right build and farming legendaries and
It's just so much fun.
Yeah,
I know we already have like 99% of everything,
right?
But it's still fun.
They did talk about also expanding the bank, possibly.
Yeah,
there's some rumors.
They got to.
So yeah, they have to. I mean, there's 300, 600, I don't know how many legendaries. And you've got 90 spots basically. So that's not working out. Gearbox, get on the stick. Jeez, man.
Yeah, I haven't experimented with the guy posted up a Zane infinite grenade build.
That's
we
gross.
can just throw grenades endlessly, and I haven't done it yet. I just haven't been gaming too much. So something I want to experiment with. We'll get back to it. Doesn't help that we've got Outer Worlds and Modern Warfare launching in just a handful of days as well. So
yeah, that's
both
gonna be
games
problematic.
I'm super excited for.
Oh, yeah.
And then Luigi's Mansion next week.
Jeez Louise.
So yeah, fall is upon us.
Yeah. Update about Luigi's Mansion. I have the physical edition coming.
Okay.
I'm not sure why I ordered that. I thought I pre-ordered digital. I did not. So
just cancel it.
Yeah, I'm gonna cancel it and just either that or maybe I'll get a physical. I can always have one game in my Switch. That's all I need.
That's true. Yeah, you have one cartridge.
I'm never changing it out.
I wish they did. I didn't see, if anyone listening sees one, but I haven't seen a steelbook for Luigi's Mansion 3, and I don't have any Switch steelbooks yet because they're like the mini ones. I'd like to have a couple just to throw up. But I'd like to get one for Luigi's Mansion. I did see, if you are listening and you're a Pokemon fan, Target has an exclusive Sword and Shield double pack with an exclusive steelbook.
I saw that.
Which is going to be probably really sought after.
Yep.
So if you're one of those guys who collects or loves Pokemon, head to Target, probably buy that as soon as you can.
Yep.
Anyway, so speaking of Call of Duty, they've revealed their progression system, which is pretty interesting, actually. It's actually got me excited. So what this is You're going to level up 1 to 55, as you always do in every Call of Duty, right? And then, as everyone knows, you kind of prestige. And then you reset everything, you start over, you get a fancy emblem, blah, blah, blah. You get a permanent unlock, etc. This is going to be completely different. So you're going to go 1 to 55 in Modern Warfare, and then you're going to unlock officer ranks. And officer ranks are going to have their own progression system, similar to almost like a battle pass style, where as you complete objectives and do other things, you unlock various things through that officer rank, and you can rank up through the officer ranks. And then in parallel to that, all the guns have individual ranks again as well, and the guns have over 100 camos and up to 50 attachments per gun that you can unlock as well.
Yep.
So the unlock system sounds pretty crazy. They did say, all the post-launch content is free. They are going to have something that is similar to a battle pass with a premium line. So kind of like probably PUBG, Apex, etc. You can earn locks for free, but then it's going to be additional unlocks you can get if you do the paid kind of season. And it's going to be done in seasons, just like PUBG, Apex, probably Fortnite, all those. So kind of an interesting approach. I'm excited about it because I like these systems better because there's crossplay. All your post-launch DLC's free. Everyone gets the maps at the same time. Everyone gets all the stuff, to me, that's meaningful, like maps and other stuff for free. If you want to spend money on extra cosmetics, go for it. Mm-hmm. That doesn't impact anyone else's game. Right. That's why I like it.
Yeah, guns aren't leveled, right? As far as like if I decide not to prestige, I don't have to worry about being destroyed by an AK-47.
According to what they wrote, when you go to officer in this one, nothing resets. It's different from the prior ones where you have to do everything over again. Oh,
okay. I gotcha. Yeah, I remember playing Modern Warfare and I never prestige. I could have.
A lot of people just sat at 55 with the 5 stars.
Yep, that's it. That was me. That was me because I had nothing to show.
Well, and back then, in the original Modern Warfare 1 and 2, you didn't get anything. It literally reset everything. Whereas the new ones like Black Ops and Infinite Warfare and whatnot, they give you a permanent unlock token. So if there's a gun you unlocked at level 50 you really like, when you prestige you can still have that gun.
Yeah, I need all the help I can get. So I'll be sticking with whatever I get. It's going to be one of those things where everybody else is going to be prestige level 800 and I will be at 1. Yep.
Yeah, that's why it sounds good, because it sounds like you can continue to progress without really kind of just throwing away what you've already done.
Yeah.
So I like it. I'm excited for it.
Sounds cool, man.
Campaign on top of it. Yeah,
that's the key, man.
Let's go.
That's what I want.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where Outer Worlds comes out at the same time.
Yep.
So I'm okay, I got to play through the Call of Duty campaign first, because it's probably going to take me way less time. I'm guessing way less time.
That in 10 hours maybe.
Yeah. That's fine. Because Outer Worlds I might spend days on.
Yeah.
And that's not even being literal.
Yeah, so it's funny. I was listening to an interview with a couple of the designers of Outer Worlds, and, it's almost a good segue here. Segue. And they were saying how the player creation suite at the beginning is very in-depth, which I love hearing. Mm-hmm. I love playing around with player creators. And then they said the game, though, is, anywhere from a 20 to 40 hour non-open world game. It's a crafted, I just tweeted about this today, it's a finely crafted experience that can be played in a ton of different ways. That one designer said he's actually on his 16th playthrough. Just experimenting with being a thief who's good at diplomacy, and then being an all-out assault guy. And they really focused apparently on making the choices meaningful, so it's not no matter what you do, the same thing happens, the same conversation. It's you can actually play through where it's a very different playthrough, but because of that, it's a smaller, tighter game, shorter game.
That's all right.
I think that sounds awesome.
Yeah, it sounds great.
So,
because that's multiple playthroughs for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even know how many times I played through Fallout New Vegas. Well, I know I did it 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
So yeah. Bring it on!
You used it up early.
Yeah.
Both those games unlock Thursday night, by the way. In fact, if you're playing Outer Worlds on PC, including Game Pass PC, it unlocks even earlier. I don't really know why, but it's something like 6 p.m. on Thursday. I think it's 9 p.m. for Xbox and PS4 and normal Game Pass. So anyway, double check that. I think we have it on our site. But yeah, there's some special unlock times there. So, Jedi Fallen Order. We talked a little bit last week about this with Death Stranding. We kind of placed our bets, and I'm feeling better about my bet after this last week has occurred.
I don't remember my bet because I slept. So
I think
I forget most everything.
I want to say you went 89 on Death Stranding and 84 or 2 on Jedi,
right. Yep.
something like that. So I'd said 88 for Jedi and 86 for Death Stranding. Regardless, the game has gone gold. It is, just for awareness, at least on the Xbox One, it's 43 gigabytes for the preload. A lot of previews came out about it this week, and they're calling it a really interesting mix of games. So they're saying the gameplay is kind of like Dark Souls or Sekiro, but easier. More like you're, you're having that fast combat where you can parry and block and counter, but it's easier to do. You're not going to die in one hit and get frustrated. It has dungeons that are huge and large and able to be explored, similar to the older Zeldas, which sounded really interesting. Non-linear exploration and even customization, including customizing your lightsaber, which is something I absolutely adored going back to Knights of the Old Republic.
Yep.
So the more I hear about this game, I wasn't really excited about this game. I think we even said that last week. I read these previews and kind of did a little digging, and I'm pretty pumped for this game now. Yeah. This is going to be a nice thing because this is the last game of the year. I think I'm really later in November. The last game I'm really pumped for.
Yeah, This is going to be. I will hopefully have Outer Worlds finished 3 times by then, and then Luigi's Mansion at least once. But right now, as we're recording this, the new trailer drops for Star Wars on Monday Night Football. So we're gonna hurry through this because I just remembered that and I've got to watch it.
Oh, for the movie.
For the movie,
That's
right?
right.
So I'm a huge Star Wars nut. I love it.
Yeah.
Everything about it. I will probably watch that. I gotta order my tickets as soon as we're done here.
It's gonna be good.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
I'm
hoping it's gonna be really good. I hope this game is really good. The only thing that concerns me is it's not the combat. It's the character. I don't know why.
No.
But every time I see him, I'm just like, I kind of want to punch this guy in the face.
He seems dorky, but in an annoying way.
Yes.
There's good dorky where he's like geeky. He feels dorky in an annoying way.
Right. He was on Gotham. He's on Shameless, I think.
His voice, you mean?
No, him. He plays whatever his name is. He plays the Joker in the Gotham series on Fox, or did before it ended. Right. And then he also played. He played on Shameless, I think. Was the show he played on Showtime.
You're talking about the main character.
The main character, yeah.
So his
yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was the Joker, man.
Oh, I didn't know that. See how much I pay attention.
Some kind of Moynihan. He's one of the Moynahans, maybe. I don't know. He sounds. Anyway, I look at him and I kind of, he's got a very punchable face, but I can look past that if the story is good. Yeah. That's the biggest thing for me. I want some good lore. I want some stuff I can explore and kind of get into it. I want this, not just to be a throw-in piece, bridge something. It's supposed to take place, between the last movie.
Jedi and
it's
End
before.
of Jedi.
No, it's the first one. It's the third movie, whatever that was, Revenge of the Sith or whatever.
Oh, I thought it was after Jedi.
Movie, it was right after Order 66.
Oh, I'm screwing everything up tonight, guys. Sorry.
Amateur hour. Anyway,
I'm not the Star Wars guru.
But yeah, and then so I want something meaty in there. See what happens.
So that's interesting. So it's before A New Hope. Then.
Yeah, it's before A New Hope.
Oh, yeah. Okay, all right. That's actually.
And I could be completely wrong here, but I'm 99%.
You know what? I might be mixing up because wasn't Battlefront 2's campaign after Jedi?
Yes.
Okay. Maybe that's what I'm mixing up.
Yeah, because you actually were part of that Battle of Endor.
Because the Death Star was destroyed.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
Spoiler.
Spoiler. 30 years later.
Yeah, just so you know. Spoiler alert.
Oh boy.
But yeah, I'm excited, man.
So what's the release date for the movie?
It's sometime in December. 17. 12,
oh, it's late then. 11. Okay, all right. Yeah,
6. I have no clue. All I know is I'm going to be buying tickets here in about 20 minutes.
I wait to see it. So my mom comes out. We're off topic. My mom comes out for Christmas, so she always wants to see it. So we'll go see it on the big IMAX or whatever when she comes
heated
out.
recliners.
I'm telling you.
That's where I'm going.
I'm telling you.
4D though, man. It might be even better.
Star Wars, it might be worth it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like a Jedi spitting on my face.
We went and saw Joker last week, and I took these guys to the new theater with the heated power recliners. Oof.
Yes, I almost fell asleep, but that is not indicative of what kind of movie it was.
No, the movie's fantastic.
It was great.
Yeah.
But it was very, very comfortable. So.
All right. Speaking of comfortable, I don't know how that transitions at all.
Segue!
But Fortnite Chapter 2 is here. We talked, when we recorded last week, I think the Black Hole event was actually happening like as we were recording, right? So Chapter 2 is here. Everything I've heard about this, I don't follow Fortnite a lot, to be honest with you, nowadays. But everything I hear from the people who still play it has been positive.
Yeah.
Everything is like, this is the refresh that Fortnite truly needed. People are really diving back in. I haven't looked at any player count statistics, but I'm guessing that it's really brought a lot of people back in. So you were saying that your kids are coming back in full force?
Right. They kind of left it there for a little while, probably before last season. And then this happened. As soon as it happened, now they're on my gaming PC and just playing it all the time. It's just crazy. They haven't asked for the Battle Pass yet. I'm waiting for that moment. It's coming. I don't know when. But it seems like, from what I've seen of it, whole new map. You have to go out. You have to discover every area before it actually appears on your map.
Oh,
like it all show up as question marks.
Okay.
Which probably wouldn't take very long for guys to play it every day.
Yeah.
For me, I'd have like 3 places open by the end of the season. But it looks really good. I mean, it looks like Fortnite. Looks like they added, some little things. They added fishing. They added, you can now, instead of running across the water up to like your knees, you actually swim through the water.
Okay.
They added boats.
That's better for a shooter.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And, they added a fish that you can catch. Apparently, I just saw some little tidbits.
Like during Battle Royale, you're fishing?
Yeah, you can fish for weapons. Right? You can also fish for a fish that is apparently super, super powerful and is a weapon.
So it's like a risk versus reward.
Yeah, it's like a golden Pokemon fish is what it looks like to me. But
so let me ask a question of you. If you don't know, maybe the listeners can tell me and I could just ask on Twitter or something. But the thing that, in terms of Battle Royale, the thing that annoyed me with Fortnite was the building. Because I was an alpha player. I played Fortnite like years ago. Mm-hmm. And I played Save the World a lot early on with the building, and for that it's cool, right? It's like tower defense almost. Right. But the Battle Royale portion, like I just want to shoot and play. Like when I shoot at someone and they build a wall, it drives me bonkers. Yeah. Do they have a mode where you can do it without the building?
Not that I know of. And I'm sure they have some kind of mode, or maybe it's like a limited time event. I don't know for sure, but
I wish they would do that.
It's so annoying. Like I sit there and I watch Ninja play on Twitter. He had a clip. And I just watched him, or this other guy he was facing, constantly build, destroy.
When you watch those high-level players,
oh my gosh, it's nuts. They will build stuff and just build a wall, and all of a sudden there's a hole in the wall that they put in there. I don't even know when it happened. I mean, how many fingers do you need to have to do all this stuff, man? It's crazy. Yeah. I just can't. And because that takes away any chance that I had, even as low as that was. It's not happening for me. No.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Screw you, building.
I guess they probably couldn't do a mode without her, right? Because if it suddenly became more popular than the building mode, they'd be like, oh, crap, what do we do now?
Yep.
Split that player base. So, anyway. All right, so let us know if you're enjoying Fortnite Chapter 2. Like we said, everything we're hearing is positive. So, last piece I want to update you guys on, just in case you're not aware, is a couple delays. So, I know, like Nick and a few people we talked to have been really looking forward to this. Is Vampire Masquerade's Bloodlines 2.
Yeah, man.
Supposed to be out in the first quarter of 2020. They've delayed it already, saying it's not going to hit first quarter. It'll be out later in 2020. Obviously, they're saying just for quality's sake, which is fine. Nothing wrong with that. Besides, we don't need any games in the first quarter. We're good. Leave it alone.
We're good.
And then Fallout 76 for the 9 of you still playing this game. Wasteland.
Maybe 8.
Down to 8. Down to 7 before we're done recording. Wastelanders, which is kind of hilarious because if you're not familiar with what this is, Wastelanders is the biggest expansion yet for Fallout 76 where they're adding NPCs into the game.
You mean the stuff that should have been there in the first place?
The whole thing that Bethesda said, we purposely didn't put NPCs in this game because we want everyone in the world to be a living person.
Yeah.
That's what Fallout 76 was.
And there were some cool instances where people would open shops and stuff.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
The plan was cool.
Yes.
It wasn't executed well.
Executed like garbage. All right. I mean, I played that game. I got to level 5, which is the level that you open up people being able to shoot you.
I was in the beta for it.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, I played it a little bit, and I was like, this is not good.
No.
Not good.
No.
I haven't gone back. It's been a year. Yeah. I haven't gone back to it. I'm going to wait till this releases. This is sometime in first quarter 2020. It was supposed to be this fall. And I'm going to give it a shot. I'm probably not going to do that in the first quarter. or within 2 months of Cyberpunk releasing, but maybe
Probably
sometime next year.
2022.
Yeah.
By the time we try it out again.
By, maybe August of next year when everything goes dead just before Scarlet and PS4, we'll go back to Anthem
Yes.
and Fallout 76, and we'll see how they stack up.
It'll be Fallout 77 by then, and they will add the new NPCs much later.
It'll be Fallout 77 and not Anthem, but Eulogy.
Yeah, that's gonna be. That's already happened.
I was going to do this as an article, believe it or not, but what would you consider the worst launch of the two?
Between the two of them?
Because both of them were huge studios, hugely anticipated, huge co-op experiences they were supposed to be, and both of them fell completely flat on their face.
It's hard to tell, man, because I would say Fallout, only because Anthem had some kind of potential there. It had
gameplay's good.
Gameplay, yeah. It was all good. It just was lacking content.
Yeah.
Wastelanders or not Wasteland, but Fallout 76 just had nothing. You'd go in there and then you would collect 8,000 pieces of metal, and then you could maybe fix your finger armor, and that was it, and you did stuff in there where it was just so broken and buggy, and you're just devoid of a lot of stuff. But people had fun with it.
Yeah, there's still people that had fun with it.
Yeah, and that's cool, but it just wasn't, because you especially were expecting like a Fallout.
I think that's the thing, is the Fallout IP.
Yeah. Right, and then with Anthem, you had the devs behind amazing games like Dragon Age and Mass Effect. So I think that also, you're like, well, these guys know what they're doing. They got, it sounds like, held back with different problems with the engine, not used to running that, whatever it is, the Frostbite engine that they used, and just a lot of technical issues, a lot of studio issues, it sounded like, so it kind of, two different demons here, so I don't know, man. They both flopped, and it stinks. But but Anthem was actually, it was one of the best-selling games,
it's the fifth best-selling this year.
This year, still,
yeah,
right?
Still.
Yeah.
Well, and man, you still put a ton of time into it. I have like 80 hours.
I've got more than that.
Yeah, you've got over 100, I think, which is kind of crazy. But it was fun to play.
Yeah, for sure.
But we're not going to talk about. We said we're not going to talk about it until there's a meaningful update.
Yeah, Vampire. I played Bloodline, or the first one.
Yeah.
And it was really, really good.
I've heard. I haven't played it.
And so this one I'm looking forward to also. Little known fact about Dan, I played Vampire the Masquerade LARP. Dropping the bombs! Okay, I didn't dress up, alright?
If you're listening, you can't see my face right now. It's very wide-eyed.
So back in college, I met some people. This is a fun story. This is probably, leads us into our next segment, kind of. And LARPing is a kind of gaming. But anyway, so we would go, I would go over to their house. Yeah, very debatable. All right, and they would do D&D stuff.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
And then they had...
Gateway drug.
Right. That's where it was. And we also painted a 40K, Warhammer stuff, miniatures and stuff.
That's cool.
I had a bunch of those things. I had a whole army of whatever. But they started getting me into, there was a Star Wars role-playing game where you basically would create a character, and then you had their dungeon master or whatever, and he would do all that stuff. Well, then they started going over to Vampire.
Okay.
There's so much, and I really got into, the stories and stuff and the lore behind it.
Yeah.
But it started getting really, really weird when one of my friends slept with another one of my friends in character, but she was married to one of the other guys playing. Oh,
jeez, there we go.
It was fantastic. He came home and walked in and found them engaged in vampire coitus, and he was eating a sandwich. He said, "Hey, don't let me bother you guys." And then continued to eat a sandwich like a boss. And then they freaked out, obviously. But he was cool as heck. He was he knew what was going on. He'd walk in with neck bites and stuff on it. It got out of control.
Okay.
Got out of control.
They got too into character.
It was nuts. All right. But this is where my initial interest in the game came from. So I'm still really kind of into the lore. I don't follow it as much as I used to, obviously, or at all, because I'm 43. But that doesn't really matter. But I really do want to see what Bloodlines 2 has to offer.
I hope this delay is to add in the side mission Rodriguez story so
Yes.
that you can play through this scenario.
Yep. Shout out to Mike, Felicia, and Brian. I won't say who's who, but two
Those
of them
are pretty common names.
Yeah,
I think you're good.
two of them were married, and now two of the other one. Now they're married to the other person. So
Oh, wow.
you know,
Okay.
stuff happens.
Hey, sometimes I was going to make a comment that probably wasn't appropriate. We'll move on.
Yep.
Well, that was a good one.
Okay.
I don't
See you
think
guys.
I don't think that segues, but
No, it doesn't
we'll
really
move on.
segue.
So, seeing as we're not going to do Name That Game this week, I figured it would be funny to kind of talk to some of our listeners and some of the followers on Twitter about the funniest things. I don't know, that might have just started us off right there. The funniest things related to gaming that you could think from your history. And so I asked people to share. I have one to share myself. And so I've got kind of a list here. We're just going to have some fun with this little segment to kind of talk about some of these things. So,
yeah.
shout out to Diego. Diego said, I remember renting Resident Evil from Blockbuster. Good old Blockbuster. We all did. It didn't come with a manual, so the whole time I played it, I kept saying, how do you block? Loved the game so much, I ended up buying it, quickly looked at the manual only to find out there's no block button in Resident Evil.
You couldn't get online to check it out either.
Nope.
No, my gosh.
You should have called your Nintendo Power Hotline.
No.
Nintendo would have been like, what's Resident Evil?
Oh, man.
My buddy Sarko. So Sarko, military vet. Modern Warfare 2 release. The GameStop manager at his local GameStop asked him to kit up and show up for the launch. So like basically in his full military gear.
Oh
yeah, and Sarko doesn't play around.
No.
So
I played with them.
He said the Hooters girls fell through, who were supposed to show up. The rest of the Army guys never showed up. So he said, I ended up being fully kitted up, looking like an asshat because he was the only one that showed up for this launch, standing there.
Perfect.
So he said, luckily, he was in his legit deployment kit, which included face cover, so there was no proof it was him. But so he stood at a midnight launch of Modern Warfare 2 in a fully official deployment kit.
Well, good for
by
him.
Himself.
You know, thank you for your service, Sarko. I love you, buddy. And also thank you for your service to GameStop. Dang, man.
That's pretty crazy.
That is nuts.
So,
did he get a free game?
I didn't ask him. I'll ask him.
I got something for free. Jeez.
So, agoraphobic gamer. He said, when the Nintendo first came out, my mom and a friend kept taking turns. He's British, in case you couldn't tell, my mom. And a friend kept taking turns playing each level and thinking that pressing the jump button while literally moving the controller in real life dictated the direction Mario jumped. So basically they were sitting there, hitting the button and shaking the controller up and down.
That was everybody, man. I did that too when it first started. You were like, go! Go!
Because it was just so different from anything else.
Right, yeah. It was so, and eventually, as you play, you start realizing, I'm an idiot. Not you, Echo4 gamer. Myself, I'm like, because then I would watch, like, my friends come over and they would do the same thing. They'd just be like, oh, what is happening?
You were all
idiots. This is not happening. We're all been there, buddy.
Maybe that's what led to the Wii.
That could,
There you go.
That's it. Now you got Joy-Cons.
It's a good one. So Gaming Dad says, Halo 3, the squad and I looking to play some shoddy snipers. Shout out to shoddy snipers. No multiplayer game ever has topped that mode. Both he and I agree. So if you disagree, you can stop listening.
Yeah. Here's where I get kicked off the show.
Do you know what shoddy snipers is?
I'm assuming it's a shotgun sniper match.
That's it.
Okay.
Yeah. It's best of 50. You get 2 weapons only, shotguns and snipers. So basically,
that was actually official mode.
It's been a Halo mode ever since.
Wow.
So what's neat about it, right, is you think about a big map, and if you're good at sniping, you're good at sniping. If you're not good at sniping, you basically try to creep around and you can shotgun people up close, because if you get up close to someone with a sniper, they're not going to be able to really shoot you well.
Right. So what if you're not good at either?
Don't play Halo.
Yeah, that's probably me.
Or play against me. Well, your choice. So anyway, they were playing Shoddy Snipers, him and his friends. This is, remember, before Party Chat. Most people don't remember that. Party Chat was not a thing originally, so they joined a lobby, which was open mic'd at the time, only to hear a guy with a strong Scottish accent say, yeah, and that's when she gave me syphilis, which was nice. I can't do a Scottish accent. It would be funnier if we could do that, but...
No, that's hilarious. I mean,
remember when it was just game chat, the things you would hear?
Yeah, it's crazy,
because you couldn't even mute people all the time in most games. You would just have to hear whatever you heard.
Yeah, but we've all been there, right? Just like,
syphilis?
Syphilis. Right?
No.
Leave some comments. Listen.
If you've had syphilis.
If you've had syphilis. No, don't do that, because that's probably some kind of confidentiality thing.
Yeah, you probably don't want to do that.
And I don't want to know.
So our buddy Cloud, shout out to Cloud. He said, as kids, my brother and I snuck into our parents' closet to see what we got for Christmas. We found a Nintendo 64, figured we could get off pulling off the unboxing and playing it before Mom and Dad got home. Well, we put Zelda in, turn it on, only to find out that their dad had already started the game and near finished it already.
That's hilarious. That, you know what? Did you do something like that?
Yeah, that's where mine was. So I told him that mine's very similar, except for my mom didn't game. But when Genesis came out, I found Genesis in the closet, and my mom would work late. She was a hairdresser. And I decided that I think I could unbox the Genesis, hook it up, play it with Ghouls and Ghosts and Altered Beast, and put it back before she came home. And it worked the first night. So we did that for like weeks before Christmas. So by the time Christmas came around, I had already beaten both games. And I opened it, and she was like, "Oh, you've beat these so quickly." But I've been playing them for weeks already. And I think I mentioned before, I still haven't told her that. I'm 41 years old. She still doesn't know.
Christmas is coming, buddy.
Yeah, she's coming out. Maybe I'll tell her this year. We'll see. Probably not.
No.
And a couple others real quick. So Blaine Smith, he said, he's got two, which is funny, and both of them are good. So as a young lad, I spent several hours deleting stuff off of my computer just to play Black and White. You remember Black and White from Peter Molyneux?
Peter Molyneux,
yeah. Just to play Black and White because the system said I didn't have enough RAM.
Hey man, you know what? That was an awesome game. That was an awesome game because you played God at that. You know, that was like that one they hyped it up. Yeah,
it was like the new. Remember Populous when we were young? Yeah,
it was awesome, man.
Didn't have enough RAM, so he's trying to delete games. Oh yeah, that's not gonna do it. And he also said, and I found this one kind of funny. He said he was at a PS4 launch event in the UK, and he got interviewed suddenly on camera for the launch event. And someone asked him what his favorite PlayStation game was. He said he totally froze, and the first thing that blurted out was Digimon.
Did they keep that in there, or did they edit that out?
That's a great question. I'm going to assume they edited that one out.
That's hilarious.
Digimon. You could probably ask me what my top 1,000 games are, and I don't think Digimon would ever come out of my mouth.
I thought it was just like Pokemon, but like for poor people. No, just joking. I love poor people.
I've been poor.
I've been there. We all have. No, isn't that what that is? I'm not for poor people, obviously. That was just a joke. But
you mean like, a poor man's version of Pokemon. I don't know what Digimon is.
That sounds way better than what I said.
Probably, yes. It's all in how you phrase things.
Yep. Come back later, and I'll have this all set, guys.
And then Lady LC has a funny one here. She said she was at EGX in 2015. And she said she turned off roughly 5 different Xbox One consoles with her chest. So for those unfamiliar with the launch Xbox Ones, before the S came out, there was a motion-sensitive power button. Remember, you didn't have to actually push it. You could just run your finger over it, right? So she said that she is a short girl and that she was standing and kind of leaning into the stations to play, kind of like this.
Oh my gosh.
And that accidentally she was turning off the Xboxes with her chest, and she didn't figure it out until about the 5th one. That's hilarious.
Oh,
that's a good one. People at EGX were like, what are we doing here?
Man, so many things I want to say right now. But you've won.
Yeah, that's a good one. That
is fantastic.
We've got one more, which I thought was cool because I think this probably happened to multiple people. But Cryptor69 says, I called in sick to work when StarCraft 2 came out. StarCraft 2, huge launch in Blizzard. He said he logged in at midnight and realized that the owner of his company was online too. He said we ended up playing the crap out of it for 2 days straight, both sick, and they became good friends afterwards.
That's awesome.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Gaming, bringing people together, not getting fired. Fantastic. Oh.
So, good stories, guys. Thanks everyone who responded and shared. Obviously, there were I got like 30 responses. I only picked out some, so we don't have like 40 minutes to go through all of them. But that was cool. Some good stories. You have anything? Your response was simple. You said you played Anthem.
Yeah, I played Anthem.
Yeah, you paid full price for the Legion of Dawn edition.
And also bought some Anthem coins. So that was hilarious.
$100 later.
The only one I could, because you asked me this, and I was just like, man, I've thrown so many controllers in my lifetime. Now this is 10 years ago when I was angry Dan and just toss stuff. One of my buddies, I was at his place, and he tossed one so hard it stuck in the wall. And you can do the math. It's about 16-inch studs. So I mean, it's probably like he probably had like a 50% chance of that happening. As hard as it, maybe less. It just stuck. It was a 60. It was a 64. Yeah, like a ninja star, and that thing stuck in there
straight through the drywall.
Right through the drywall. And I was
Nice.
like, man, that's awesome. Controller was fine. A little
Really?
dusty. Yeah. The only other one I could think of was, and this I'm not sure how gaming related this is, but back in the day of my LARPing, one of my other friends used to play EverQuest all the time.
Okay.
He tried to get me into it.
Yep.
The only problem was he would play EverQuest in his drawers, and that's it. He would be sitting there at his computer in his underwear, like boxers, right?
So like the stereotypical what you would think.
Yes, yeah. And he was, it wasn't like huge, but he was there, and every time he'd get excited, he'd get up and do this pelvic thrusting, all right? And like one time I was sitting there behind him, he turns around and he's right there, and it's just doing one of these things. I'm like, oh my God! It was the most horrific thing I've ever seen. I never ended up playing EverQuest because of this thing.
Well, you live with him?
No, I was just over at his place.
Oh, just hanging out.
Hey, check this out, man.
Okay. That's
something cool.
That's even odder.
Yeah.
So your friend comes over to play games and you're sitting there in your underwear?
Right.
No,
in his room. We weren't even out in the living room.
No,
He was like,
no.
come over here and check this out.
I wouldn't even be coming over.
Yeah, it was bad news.
I'm good.
It was bad news.
We're not going to do that on Bitcast.
Stuff almost hit me in the face.
Not good.
It'll change your life, boys.
All right, so let's talk about what we're currently playing, and then we'll talk about Ghost Recon Breakpoint. You did the review for, and I just put up the review today, actually, as we record, of Yooka and the Possible Lair. So,
Nice.
Mine's quick. I've been playing that.
Yeah.
That's all I played the past several days. So.
I played Breakpoint and The Return of the Obra Dinn,
Which I'm really interested in.
which is really, really good. I bought it for 2 systems.
Makes sense.
Yep. Just in case I wanted to take it with me, because it's one of those games. When I bought it for the Xbox originally. I played about an hour.
Okay.
It's like I can't. It's like a murder mystery.
It's like a detective game because
Right.
you're a insurance.
Yes.
But it's from a different perspective. Yeah.
So you're kind of figuring out everything as you go along. You got to, you see a dead body, you whip out your watch or whatever, and you try to replay stuff, and you try to find how this. It's almost like Clue, but you've got to go through several different places, different people, and you basically fill in the logbook as you go. There's 60, I think, different people that were on this boat.
60?
60.
Wow.
Yeah, it's going to take me a while. But I got it for the Xbox. I was like, you know what? This game would be awesome to take with me, with the Switch, because, it's not graphically demanding.
This is where xCloud would have came in handy.
Would have been great.
See?
If I would have gotten the preview program, I would have had this problem. But no, anyway. But yeah, I mean, I could just take it with me, The writing's a little bit smaller, the text is a little bit hard to read sometimes, but it's one of those games that is kind of suited for the Switch.
Yeah.
Or if there are.
It's not graphically intensive.
Right.
You don't need intense focus or.
Right. Yeah. And you can kind of play as you want.
Yeah.
You kind of just make your way. Excuse me. It's really, really good. Short of that, I think I get Breakpoint and then a little bit of Borderlands and jump back on Sea of Thieves for a minute. But I'm done with that game for a little while.
What's
which
next
is sad.
for that? I haven't seen an update on that one in a while.
They just released the new. I can't remember what it's called exactly. It's some kind of deal where you have to die a certain amount of ways, and there's one island. They turned one fort into this huge ghost fort, which is I guess we could have talked about earlier, but and you have to light all these torches a different way, which is easy for 5 of them, but that 6th one you got to get struck by lightning to die, and that's how you go to the Ferry of the Damned. You get a certain lantern color. I'm not sure how that's going to work.
Wow.
And they've got a few other things. I got aimbotted one night over and over again on 2 different servers.
You playing crossplay?
I have no choice. The only way they've done it in arena. They still haven't done the crossplay opt out in
the
console.
standard game.
Nope.
That's
not
annoying.
yet.
Yeah.
It's super annoying, and I can deal with getting beat by PC players. That doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
I can't. We were in a storm.
If it's fair.
Right.
Yeah.
We were in a storm. I had my buddy up there on the wheel. I was behind the mast. They were behind us, sideways, and they were sniping us through the mast. and like every shot was landing.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, okay, you know what? There's no way, because we're going like this.
Yeah.
You know, with the aimbots, from what I've read, you basically, they give you you highlight whatever it is, that person,
Yeah.
and it'll tell you exactly when to shoot for it to hit. So maybe I'm wrong, but I think that's how it works. So I was getting hit every time. I was like, there's no way.
That's annoying.
Yeah, we went to a different server. Same thing happened with different players. I was like, this is crazy, man. And it sucks because I love that game.
That's one of the things that often doesn't get talked about when you talk about multiplayer on PC. And one of the things I used to run into a lot is there are so many cheaters on PC, and it's so easy to do it.
Yeah.
That even with the big games where they, like, I know PUBG, I think we talked about it, I want to say last year, they said they were banning something like 6,000 or 7,000 cheaters a day at one point. Like, because that game was huge in China and other markets where, you know, but it's very frustrating. Yeah, I can't deal with that.
You can go and, you know, I looked at the recent players, they're brand new accounts.
Of course,
you know,
because they've probably been banned.
Yeah,
and then,
exactly. You know, it's pretty easy to tell. So you can tell that they're on PC just from looking at that.
Yeah, it shows you.
It shows you, yeah. So, I mean, it's fine. Once they figure that out and I can opt out, I'll be back in full force. You know, I do love the game. I can't say enough good things about it.
Yeah.
And I just wish I didn't have to miss some of these events because of cheaters.
So I was thinking about this the other day, and we're going to kind of go off topic again, but maybe the listeners will chime in at some point too, I was thinking the other day, and I know other people have discussed it, but, you know, there are services online, if you think about stuff. Facebook's a terrible example, but just imagine if you had to tie your online account, right, to you. Meaning, like, you had to identify yourself with, like, a license, a credit card, like some real identification where your online account was tied to that, so that if you got banned, right, you would actually have to falsify legal documents basically to create a new account.
I am all for that.
I think that's taking it probably to the extreme, of course, but
do it.
But it would be kind of amazing just to see what the environment online would look like, especially on PC.
Yeah.
If you actually had to do that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And, you know, and a lot of people, you know, are worried. You know, and you get crossplay, you're going to have stuff like this happen. I understand that, and that's fine. And a lot of the PC players I know are worried about cutting the player numbers down, which it will, but not, I think, to the point where it's going to be completely empty servers. I really don't think you're going to be having to worry about that so much. And if that's what you're worried about, you know, fine. I understand that. But if you're just, you know, complaining, oh, it's fine, you know, there's no difference between keyboard and mouse and controller. There is, first of all. Second of all, you know, it sounds to me like you're complaining because now you won't have easy targets, you know. So
well, that's the other thing, right? You can't do both. You can't cheat and then complain that no one wants to play crossplay.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
And honestly, and most of them, I'd say 90% of the keyboard and mouse players are totally legit players.
It's always the few.
It's just that few people I keep running into for some reason. I've got a target on my back, and they hate me.
On your forehead.
Yeah. I mean, I've met people on there where they kick my butt, and, you know, then they'll message me or something, and we'll sit there and talk, even though they sunk my ship and took all my treasure. You know, and they're like, hey, man, you're a good sport. You know, you're fun to talk to. He's like, here's all your stuff back. Just come over here. We'll give it. And they've given it to me. You know, it's just...
It is Sea of Thieves.
Right. And I'm fine with it. You know, we didn't have anything on our boat anyway. That was the thing. They would have been super disappointed. But they cheated. Like the bastards.
I think that, again, we're kind of going off, but the thing about Sea of Thieves that's interesting, right, is there was that methodology of it, Sea of Thieves. So, yes, you can lose all your stuff. Mm-hmm. I think it would have been interesting if they did a secondary kind of progression system of some sort. I don't have the answers of where even if you lost all your stuff, you still got credit for kind of the time and investment into gathering that stuff. So you couldn't like progress your core things because you didn't turn in the chest, but you got something else even if your stuff was stolen.
The only thing you would get that you do get from that is achievement progress.
Yeah.
So that's really not...
Yeah, which doesn't mean much to many people.
No.
But anyway, all right, so let's talk about Breakpoint real quick.
Yeah.
We're just going to do a quick rundown, guys. Like we said, Breakpoint and Yooka reviews are on the site. Breakpoint, so we don't review a massive number of games. Most of the games we review are games we want to review, and for that reason, you know, our scores tend to average a little higher because they're games we think are going to be good and we want to play.
Right.
Breakpoint is the first game in a long time on our site that has not earned a medal. So if you're not familiar with our review system, scores 7 through 10 earn medals: bronze, silver, gold, and platinum. Platinum's obviously ultra rare, equivalent to like a 10. Only 2 games in our history have gotten it, and that's Red Dead 2 and God of War.
Yeah.
9 sensational, 8 is superb, 7 is oh god,
Good.
I can't even remember. It's
it's bronze.
It's like admirable. I forget. Yeah, it's bronze.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Breakpoint, you gave it a 6.
I did.
No medal.
medal.
And you said 6. If I recall, said it might be a little generous at times.
It might be.
Basically, to sum it up from what you've told me, we're talking about they took what was good about Wildlands and tried to, 1, add too many things, 2, change it too much, and they left with a product that has no identity.
It's basically what it is. I think in the review, it's basically if you took all the bad, terrible parts out of
7 is honorable.
Yeah, honorable.
Sorry.
Yeah, out of all the Ubisoft games. Let's say we'll take the worst part of Assassin's Creed, the worst part of Wildlands, the worst part of Division 2. We'll make them worse, and then make them all together into like a big Ubisoft sausage, and the intestine is the Ghost Recon franchise. It's really, here's the thing, I loved Wildlands, loved playing it, even though I know it was repetitive, it was still fun, and the core Wildlands is kind of there, but everything around it has been so skewed for some reason. Everybody was complaining about the microtransactions and stuff. That's nothing. I mean, who cares? It's all cosmetic, literally. It's gosh, man, I was so pumped for it to be good. I didn't even buy it. Actually, my son got it for me. So it was one of those things where it's like, I'm going to try this out. We're going to see what happens. And it's like they had the progression system of like the Division 2 for the guns, where they had like, yellow, pink, and blue and all that stuff. A gun at level 38 is the same as a gun at level 147. Same damage, same stats, everything like that.
You were telling us like last week that the armor's like the same. It doesn't matter.
Right. It just, all that matters is what level the enemy is.
Yeah.
So that level 38 gun might not do as much damage, but if you hit him with a headshot, dead.
Yeah.
So even if you're spraying and praying, one of those, with an LMG, oops, I shot the guy in the head. That one bullet, he's dead. So it doesn't matter all that much. You could probably, if you were really, really good, you could probably go in and beat the game in like 30 minutes. Because you can go straight to the last boss if you wanted to.
Really?
Yeah. It's one of those games where, Ubisoft, it's like Far Cry.
Far Cry 4?
Yeah. But
that's a shame, though.
They missed a lot,
a shame.
and it makes me sad because I do love those kind of games.
Yeah.
And the stealth mechanic is just gone. I mean, because you're by yourself, you don't have your guys with you anymore. Which is, to me, Ghost Recon. You have your buddies, you have your squad, you have your AI guys, you can tell them to go here, here, and here. Remember old Rainbow Six games where you could, position your guys and then breach and then go in. But that was always kind of the core mechanic for me, and now they're gone. Now they've been replaced with these little drones you can throw up in the air, and, they can slingshot, and you only get like, I think up to 7 of them. And
per mission or something. Yeah.
Everything else, the RPG mechanics are, I just don't think it all matters. And it's just, I think they could have waited maybe like another 6 months and maybe took some of the, feedback from actual players in the beta and say, hey, there's no reason to do it like this. There's no reason to have this weird gun progression system. Excuse me.
It might have been, one of those cases where it was too late. They know that they can't really delay the game because next year is almost at a loss already for it. And then you've got the new systems and you're kind of screwed. Yep.
It's I don't know why they did what they did.
It probably still sold well.
I know it. I'm almost guaranteeing it. Yeah. But it sucks, and I don't like, necessarily when I do reviews, I don't like, giving low scores, but you have to be objective and honest. I mean, that's the key, and that's what we do at Season Gaming. We've always, just be objective. Just because I don't like it is one thing, but objectively, it's bad.
It's not a good game.
Bad. So how's Ukulele?
So Ukulele, this one surprised me. So for history here, I was an original backer of Ukulele, the first one. Nice. My name's actually in the credits.
Get out of here.
Which was cool. Played that, liked it a lot. It wasn't up to the standard of Banjo-Kazooie, but it had its spirit. When they announced this one, the 2D, so this is purely 2D platforming, everyone was like, how's that going to work, you know? And everyone, I think, or at least I assumed it was going to be kind of a small, short game. It is not. It's a very big game. It has a tremendous art style, just gorgeous game. It has an overworld, so you kind of have this overworld you play, and then you jump into levels from the overworld. But the overworld itself is like a game. You explore and find stuff, and there's characters and all this. And then you jump into levels, and the levels themselves start very easy. The first couple, I was like, oh god, they made this game for like 6-year-olds, you know, super easy. But then it really progresses, and they get much more complex. And there's a lot of hidden things in every level. Some of the levels you can replay multiple times. So like, you'll find a level that's like sitting in the water, right? And you'll go in, and it'll have some water elements and all this stuff. And then you can freeze the water in the overworld, and then the level will change to a frozen version of it inside. So you jump in, and it's all different.
Nice.
And fire, and you know, just upside down, and there's all kinds of very, very cool variations. The mechanics are really strong. It's very smooth to play. The soundtrack is phenomenal. It's super, super good. It's just like whimsical and charming, and you start humming it as you're playing. And then, you know, I was walking around yesterday, you know, through the house, and I get humming it in my head. You know, I just tracks stuck in my head. And then there's a lot of replayability too, because there's tonics. So there's like over 60 tonics you can find hidden throughout the world, and you find them, and you can activate them up to 3 at a time on a level, 4 later in the game. And they change things in the game. Some change the difficulty up, some change the difficulty down, and then some just add fun stuff. So if you want to play levels in black and white, you can do it. If you want to play with big head mode, you can. If you want to make it so every enemy takes double the amount of hits, you can. But you get double the like quills, which are kind of like currency when you do that. And so it kind of ups or downs the difficulty. So if you're struggling, you can activate tonics, which will make the game easier. If you want a more challenge and you're like, I want to get like 1,000 quills on this level instead of 600, so you can unlock more stuff, you can up the difficulty. So really neat. It's really, really surprised me. I did not expect it to be that good. Fantastic 2D platformer. I dare say, I'm confident in saying that some of the big boys like Donkey Kong, Tropical Freeze, Country Tropical Freeze, that was on the Wii U re-release for the Switch. This is a better game.
Nice.
Yooka-Laylee is a better game.
Nice.
So just great. Shout out to Playtonic and Team 17. For total transparency, they did provide me the review code. So we always kind of comment when the company provides it, because we don't do any paid promotions here. But in all seriousness, it's a very, very good game. I think I told you guys when we talked about it first, because I reached out to them late, so I didn't get the review code ahead of release. That's why my review's a little late. But the reviews were coming in, and they were high. I mean, it's got like an 87 or something Metacritic, 84, something like that. It's in the 80s. Yeah. But I was like, you know, the reviews are really good for this, and yeah, it earns it. I see why now. So that's it. Like 2D platformers, don't miss out on it. It's really good.
I might have to get it. Yeah. Because why not? And
it's on Switch, PS4, PC, Xbox. It's on everything. So
is it enhanced for the Xbox?
There's no HDR. I don't know if it's enhanced in 4K. It looks like it. It looks beautiful. Yeah. I mean, it's really sharp and really colorful. Check out some of the screenshots. There's a couple screenshots I put in the review that's directly from me playing. It's gorgeous. Yeah. Nice. Really good game. Cool. So, anyway, I think that's mostly going to wrap us up. So we got those reviews up on the site. Check them out. Got a fresh episode of Industry Perspective coming this week, actually, talking about the impact of Game Pass. So both how it's doing financially, what it's doing for the industry, what you can expect in the future. I'll have that kind of scripted. I'll be recording that this week, and hopefully can get that up by the end of the week. And like I said, Bert's away for 2 weeks. Yeah. So either Dan and I will be back. Well, we'll be back next week for sure, but we may have a special guest next week too.
Maybe.
So we'll see.
It won't be coming out of the closet though. That sounded weird. Yep.
It won't be arriving mid-frame. Gosh. Yeah, you're just putting foot in your mouth all night.
I'm sorry. Gosh.
Maybe it will be coming out. We don't know.
You don't know.
So, anyway, thanks as always for listening. If you enjoy Bitcast, obviously tell your friends, tell family members, tell everyone who wants to hear it. Yep. Subscribe, like, all those things. We will see you next week.